Discipleship Commission for doing this and for the special committee that formed to bring shape to this service. Thank you so much, Corey Harrison and others that have worked on this. The theme for today is all God's critters. And so take note of all the animals that appear in the skits, and we look forward to the kids sharing a song today about how all God's creatures have a place in God's choir. And so we're looking forward to that. And together with all of creation, we can praise God, our Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. It's appropriate that on this Children's Day, we have the joy of welcoming a new child born into our church family this week. We rejoice with Kyle and Sarah and Elise and Layla Neufeld on the birth of Cora Kathleen on Thursday. And so we look forward to meeting her and having her join our church family here. I invite you to turn in your bulletins as we read together our call to worship as printed. But please notice that there are parts for those of you sitting on the west side, and there are parts for those sitting on the east side, as well as for boys and men and women and girls. So please take note of that. And I invite you to stand if you are able as we read this together. For children and for summer days, let's all give thanks unto the Lord. 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 For flowers bright along the way, for fields and yards where we can play. Let's all give thanks unto the Lord. For children and for summer days, we offer now these words of praise. I'm going to read Psalm 104, and I'm going to read it out of the Shine On Story Bible, and it's entitled, God Cares for the Earth. Bless the Lord, O my soul. God, you are very great. Light wraps around you like clothing. You ride on the wind with the clouds as your chariot. You gave the earth a strong foundation and covered it with water, even above the mountains. Then you made the waters run down into the valleys. You make springs of water in the valleys so that every bird and animal has water. You make the grass grow for the cattle and plants for people to use. You bring good food from the earth. The trees provide homes for the birds. The high mountains are home to wild goats. The rocks give shelter to wild rabbits. The moon marks the seasons, and sun knows what time to set. You make darkness and night. God, you have made so many things. In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. Yonder is the great wide sea. Creeping things, too many to count, live there. Living things both great and small. All the creatures look to you for food. When you open your hand, the animals are filled with good things. New life comes from you, God. Your spirit renews the land. May God rejoice in all creation. I will sing to God as long as I live. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Praise God. The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God.
Good morning. These are our 2- and 3-year-old kids. We're missing a few, but we're glad that these 4 are here this morning. What we're going to do, what we do in class every Sunday, is we start out by singing Jesus Loves Me. So we're going to do that, and then we have our Bible verse, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. Remember our Bible verse, guys? Okay? And then at the end of our time in class, we sing a goodbye song, and we're going to sing that for you as well this morning. Should we do that again with our actions?
Let's go and tell the good news.
Long ago, when the world was brand new, God gave Adam a new job to do. Since none of my creatures is ever the same, I think it is time that each had a name. So Adam invited the creatures to come. Over mountains and deserts they came one by one. Hopping and running and swimming they came, and Adam gave each creature its very own name. This creature looks like a big cat with spots and a long tail. It can run as fast as a car. I think I will call this creature a This creature can be found in rainforests. It has no legs and can grow as long as 29 feet. It eats small animals. I think I will call it a
Anaconda.
This creature is tiny and has wings that move so fast you can hardly see them. It eats flower nectar, pollen, and insects. I think I will call it a
Hummingbird.
These creatures live in water. They have gills and fins. The back fin helps push them through the water, and the other fins help steer. I think I will call it a
Fish.
This creature is very large and has a white, furry coat. It lives around snow, ice, and water. I think I will call it a
Polar bear.
This creature has 4 legs with hooves. It has a long nose, mane, and a long stringy tail. You will recognize this creature when you hear it neigh. I think I will call it a
Horse.
And so this is how each creature, that is, came by a name that is hers or his, based on Genesis 2:18 through 20.
That's how we choreograph.
Good morning and welcome to TTN Time Travelers News, where the past is the present. Today we're time traveling way back to the days just before the big flood. We have our time traveling reporter Vance live on the scene. Vance, tell us, what is the situation?
Thanks. I'm here at the corner of Corruption Street and Evil Avenue. The general climate of the area is, well, how shall I put this? About as wicked and scary as I have ever seen. Rumor has it that God Almighty has declared that the situation is so dire that he is sorry that he ever created people, and he is thinking about a do-over of some kind. The wickedness is rampant. Let me see if I can get an interview with one of the locals. Excuse me, miss, can you tell me about yourself?
What's there to tell? It's all about me, me, me. And I have what I want when I want it. I don't give a rip about anyone else.
But what about God, Jehovah, the Creator?
Who needs God? No, thank you. I'm the only one I can depend on. I've really got to go now. So much evil to do and so little time.
Sir, what about you?
What the heck do you want from me? Get out of my way.
Nothing much. I just wondered if you know anything of a man called Noah.
Noah? Everyone in this land knows about that crazy old Noah. He's a kooky old man that's been building that humongous boat on the edge of town. Get this. I heard him tell someone that God told him exactly how to build the huge boat, and that it's going to rain for 40 days and 40 nights, and that he and his family are going to be safe when God destroys the world. What a crock of garbage.
Wow, 40 days and nights, you say? Well, back in Kansas, we've had some wet seasons, but never that bad.
Not only that, he says he's building it so big because he's going to gather up a pair of every kind of bird and animal and get them into the boat before the rain. He and his sons have been building this thing for over 100 years. So unbelievable. I couldn't make this up. Well, I got to go and rob somebody or cheat someone or commit some other random act of violence.
Well, I guess you can see what I mean about the evil climate around here.
Well, Vance, how about, can you see if you could interview this Noah fellow?
Good idea. I think he's over here by this huge ark. Mr. Noah, can I have a word with you?
Certainly, sir. It's my pleasure to meet you. I'd be glad to tell you about my walk with God and my mission.
Yes, about that. I understand that God spoke to you and told you to build this massive ark.
Yes, in fact, God commanded me to build this ark of cypress wood, and He gave me the exact dimensions and instructions. Well, you know, when God commands you, you grab your tool belt and you get to work.
I see. So you and God have a close relationship?
Oh my, yes. I'm afraid my family and I are pretty isolated here. No one else sees the importance of worshiping and obeying God. People here these days don't fear God. God is getting ready to destroy the world. A huge flood is coming. In fact, I should get back to work. The ark is just about finished, and it's time to be gathering and loading the animals. Nice to talk to you.
Well, there you have it. You heard it from Noah himself. And what's that? I think it's starting to sprinkle here, and I think it's time for me to travel back to the present.
Well, thank you, Vance. We will do that. And thank you all for tuning in today for our live coverage before the Great Flood. But we'll see you next week. Tune in next week when our field reporter visits with Israelites as they miraculously cross the Red Sea. For the Time Travel News TTN Network, so long for now, and may your past be your present.
Hi, my name is Leonard, and I'm a lion. I'm sorry to say that lions sometimes eat people. Not a lot of people, just some people. Not all the time, just sometimes. But starting today, I'm going on a people-free diet. I'll explain why as I tell you the story of Leonard and the lion Daniel.
Excuse me, I think you got the name of the story wrong.
You're right. Thanks for pointing that out. Daniel is Leonard the lovable lion and some guy named Daniel.
Not to be rude, but everybody knows the story is called Daniel in the Lion's Den.
See, I get zero respect. You make one mistake. You eat a few people. And what happens? They name the story after somebody else. What is wrong with this world?
Calm down, calm down. Maybe you should just tell the story, okay?
Fine. Daniel in the lovable lion's den. Only these lions weren't lovable at all, not at first. They were fierce and mean with big, huge teeth. See those big, sharp teeth? They were as fast as the wind, rushing around their cage. They held up their claws, pawing at the air. Their claws were as sharp as swords. Okay, claws as sharp as those little plastic knives you get at the drive-thru window. Anyway, there was this guy named Daniel who loved God. And there was a king who ruled over an entire country. And there were some supervisors who helped the king run things. Wave supervisors. God made Daniel really smart and wise. He did a great job helping run the country.
Daniel, he's our man. If he can't do it, then no one can.
Thank you, lions. That was so good I want to hear it again.
Daniel, he's our man. If he can't do it, then no one can.
Thank you, fellow lions. Daniel did such a great job, the king wanted to put him in charge of all the other supervisors.
Now wait, just a minute. He's not the boss of me.
Who are you?
Sam, the supervisor. I supervise the South Side.
Sam, the South Side supervisor? There's no Sam in the Bible's account of Daniel's life.
I know, I didn't even get the name, but I'm telling you, I'm more important than Daniel.
Okay, but I still think Daniel is our main character because he served God. That's what this whole story is about. Anyway, the king just wanted to make Daniel the boss, and the other supervisors were jealous. They looked for ways to make Daniel look bad. See how they're pointing at Daniel?
We're watching you, buddy.
The supervisors followed Daniel, but he didn't go anywhere he shouldn't go. They knelt down in front of Daniel to trip him, but Daniel walked around him. One day, the supervisors saw Daniel kneel and pray, and they said, "Aha!
Aha!
That's it. We've got him."
That's it. We have got him. Daniel prays 3 times every day.
So that's not against the law.
It will be in a minute.
The supervisors went to the king and convinced the king to make a law against praying to anybody except the king. If you didn't pray to the king, you'd be thrown to the lion's den. Why is it always the lion's den? What if we're trying to cut down on fat? Why don't they throw somebody into the tiger's den for a change?
We don't have any tigers.
Good point. So they threw him into the lion's den. See how Daniel is surrounded by lions? The lions roared. They were all set to eat Daniel.
Daniel, he's fresh meat. Now we've got a snack to eat. Before we start, can I have a bit?
Oh no, the king said. The lions are going to eat Daniel. The king was upset, but a law is a law. The lions opened their mouths wide to eat Daniel. They opened their mouths even wider and even wider. Oh, lion number 2, I think you've got a cavity there.
Excuse me, can we get on with it? I'm about to be eaten here.
Just then, God sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths. They tried to roar, but their mouths were closed.
Daniel, you're no fun but my dinner's done.
The king came to the lion's den the next morning and called out to Daniel, and Daniel called back because he was safe.
You've got a lot of hungry lions in here because God saved me.
Then the king forgave the supervisor and gave them all big fat raisin rice.
Nope, he put them all into the lion's den where the lions spent the afternoon munching and burping. And that's the story of Leonard the lion and some guy named Daniel.
It's the gate.
Closed, open.
Once upon a time, there was a man who had 100 sheep.
Come on, sheeps, come on. Let's see. There's June, that's 94. Buttercup, 95. What's your name? Oh, yes, 96. Perry, 97. Dennis, 98.
Each day, he would carefully open the sheepfold and lead the sheep out to pasture.
Come on, sheepies. It's time to go eat. Come on. Out you go. Get some food. Time to go. Come on. Graze away.
Sheep are pretty dumb, so they have to be watched over carefully. Sometimes a predator, like a bear or a wolf, would try to eat one. And so the shepherd, watching over his sheep so that none would be eaten,
hey,
if anything threatened his sheep,
get away, hey,
he would drive it off.
Get away, get away, leave my sheep alone. Dumb animal.
Each day, he made sure that they got enough to eat and drink.
Okay, come on back.
And he brought them home safely to the sheepfold at night.
Come on in.
To protect them, he would sleep at the entrance to the fold so that any enemy would have to go through him to get to the sheep.
Oh, okay, it's time to go to sleep now. No more glasses of water now. You just get to sleep.
One night, a thief tried to sneak in over the wall to steal a sheep. But the shepherd heard him, woke,
Hey, get away!
and drove
Get away!
him away
Hey,
with his
Take
staff.
that! You rascal.
One evening, when they were home from the pasture, the shepherd noticed that one of his sheep was missing.
See, Janice, 97, 98, 99. Wait, where's Buttercup? Where's Buttercup? She's not here.
He called for
She
help.
must be lost, and she's got such a bad shoulder, she'd never protect herself.
He called for help.
I tell you, underwear with pockets, something else. Hey, hello? Is this the sheep search and rescue? I have an emergency. I have a lost sheep. Yeah, Buttercup is gone, and I need you to come as soon as you can. It's an emergency. No, I can't be put on hold. No, you have to come quickly. No, it's not going to be, I can't wait until morning. You need to come immediately, right now. Yes, hurry.
So Sheep and Rescue came.
God, I sure hope they find her.
But they were unable to find the lost lamb.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Well-
they soon gave up.
Well, thanks for trying. Oh, well, I'm going to have to go look for her myself because with that bad shoulder, there's no way she can protect herself. Hey, Buttercup! Buttercup, where are you? Come, Buttercup! Come! Oh, there you are! Oh, my goodness, your shoulder really does look bad. Come on, let's get home.
Eventually, he found his
Wait, I
missing
have to open the
lamb.
gate first. There. Now
She
you
had
get in.
wandered away from the flock and climbed into a narrow place and become lost. So the lost lamb was found, and the shepherd was glad. When he got home, he called all his friends and invited them to come for a celebration because his little Buttercup was lost.
Yeah,
and now was found.
Friday night after work, yeah, you can come, say around 6 o'clock or so. Yeah, you can bring some soybok. I've got plenty of Sandhill plum jam, so we'll be okay. And if you want to, you can bring some bonus. I've got plenty of milk and cream for the sauce. So just come on over. We'll have a great time. Okay, we'll see you then.
And so they had a great party, playing games and eating sweetbach and plum jam late into the night. Everyone had a great time, but none more so than the shepherd, whose little lamb had been found.
Oh, it's great to have all of you here.
Welcome to Animal World. I'm Von Triss, veterinarian, the host of the show. On every show, we examine the wonders of God's creation in the animal world. Today, we'll be interviewing some donkeys from the book of Genesis. Welcome to our show. What is your name?
You can call me Jenny.
I guess that means you're a female donkey.
That's right.
Why do you have a suitcase?
I took a few trips. Donkeys are excellent travelers. We can find food in desert places, and God created us to be able to get water from plains when water is scarce. That meant that there was more water for Jacob's sons when they made all their trips to Egypt.
Were they on vacation?
No, a terrible famine had come across the world. Food was scarce, but in Egypt there was food because God had sent Joseph there to prepare for the 7-year famine.
Was this the Joseph that had richly decorated robe with many colors?
The very same. I was the donkey that his full brother Benjamin rode. He traveled between 100 and 150 miles, depending on which route we took. It was long and dry, but I was a great choice because it was dangerous.
What do you mean?
Horses are flight animals. In times of panic or danger, they will run away. Donkeys, however, will simply freeze when frightened. We were plenty afraid when Benjamin was arrested. All those Egyptian soldiers milling around, hauling us back to Egypt. Good thing Ben was riding on a donkey.
What did Benjamin do to get arrested?
Well, he didn't do anything wrong. It was a setup. He was framed to teach his brothers a lesson. His brothers had sold him as a slave and it haunted them their whole lives. In fact, when they were invited to a banquet, they thought they were going to be attacked and seized as slaves and as donkeys taken from them.
What was Joseph like?
He was a good man. He not only fed his mean brothers, he provided fodder. That's food for us donkeys. To make a long story short, Joseph had a special silver cup hidden in a bag of grain on Benjamin's donkey.
So the Egyptians acted like Benjamin was a thief and arrested him? Wasn't he sentenced to become a slave?
Yes, Judah, one of the brothers, offered to stay in his place. Joseph was so touched by that he broke down crying and told his brothers who he really was.
I bet they panicked, thinking he was going to get revenge on them for being mean and selling him as a slave.
They did, but Joseph told them not to be distressed and do not be angry with themselves for selling him. I'll never forget his next words. It was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. God sent me ahead of you to save your lives.
I guess it is very important to get along with your brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. Even if they have picked on you, I'd like to hear from the audience how they get along with their brothers and sisters.
Very carefully. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was interesting. There were enough of us to do everything together.
So what happened next?
I'll let another donkey who got involved tell you.
Joseph gave his brothers some carts and provisions for the journey. Joseph knew what great travelers donkeys were, what great pack animals we'd be. So he picked 20 of us to go pick up Joseph's father and all the nieces and nephews.
God created donkeys to need less food than, say, horses or cattle, so in time of famine, donkeys were very handy.
Plus, we're good with kids. If they lose their balance or fall off, they don't have as far to fall.
What kind of provisions did Joseph send?
The 10 male donkeys were loaded with the best things of Egypt, clothes, and even 300 coins in case they had expenses.
The 10 female donkeys were loaded with grain and bread and other provisions for his journey.
It was quite a journey. Jacob was stunned and didn't believe at first. But when he saw everything we donkeys were carrying, he praised God for it all and moved to Egypt, where Joseph took care of his entire family.
What do you want our listening audience to remember the most?
Don't get discouraged when times seem rough. God may be getting ready to use you for great things.
And by all means, try to get along with your brothers and sisters. Be willing to forgive them if they are mean to you.
It was great having such world travelers on our show today. Stay tuned for further adventures from God's great animal world.
Hey everyone, my name is Hubert. That's AJ over there with his back toward you. He's been a little shy lately. Maybe I can get him to tell us why in just a little bit.
Hey everyone, I don't mean to be so shy, but the other day I had something happen to me, and I'm still a little upset about it. If you knew what happened, you'd feel bad also.
Do you want to talk about it, AJ?
No, not now. I still feel too bad. I just can't talk about it now. Maybe later.
That's fine, AJ. Whenever you want to talk, I'm right here to listen to you, just like I've always been.
Thanks, Hubert. You've always been such a good and wise friend to me.
Well, AJ, you have to remember, I'm so much older than you are.
Yes, I know. You don't act that old, Hubert. You once told me you were there when that baby boy they called Jesus was born. Is that right? Were you there?
Yes, AJ, I was there. That was so exciting.
Tell me that story again, will you please, Hubert?
Sure, AJ, I'd be happy to tell you that story again. It goes like this. Everybody had to go to their hometown to be registered. Joseph, the young man who owned me at that time, took his fiancée Mary, whom he planned to marry very soon, from Nazareth all the way to Bethlehem. Mary rode on my back most of the way. I didn't mind. She was pregnant, and I was happy to help her. When we got to Bethlehem, there were many people there, and all the places to stay were filled. Poor Joseph, he didn't know what to do. But then one of the innkeepers said we could stay in the stable with his animals.
Did you stay there, Hubert?
Of course we did. That was the only place left, and it really wasn't that bad. Then about midnight, Mary had her baby. Oh, that was so exciting. You should have been there. There were angels that came and watched over the baby Jesus. Then in a little while, some shepherds came to see the baby. Several weeks later, some wise men came from far away. They said they were following a star that guided them right to where we were. Can you believe that? A star guided them. Then before they left, they told Joseph and Mary that they should go to Egypt because King Herod was killing all the baby boys under 2 years old. Isn't that terrible? Why do people have to be so mean? So I carried Mary and the baby Jesus all the way to Egypt.
That is such a good story, Hubert.
Well, AJ, you have a story too to tell, don't you?
Well, I guess I do. Do you mean when I carried Jesus into Jerusalem? Were you there that day?
Yes, I was there, AJ. I was standing on the side watching you. I was so proud of you.
You know, when those men came and got me and said they needed a donkey that no man had ever ridden before, that really scared me. I could just not imagine what they were going to do with me. Then when they took me to that man, Jesus, I knew I would be okay because he was such a good man. When he climbed on my back, you have no idea how I felt. It was the best day of my life. The people were cheering and laying down palm branches as we entered the city. Why did Jesus choose me to ride into Jerusalem? He was a king. He could have ridden a beautiful white horse, but no, he rode me, a simple little donkey. I'll never forget that day.
Yes, AJ, that was a great day.
All that week, Jesus was busy doing things like cleansing the temple, healing the sick, lame people were walking, blind people were able to see, and even raised one man from the dead. What a great man Jesus was. Then on Friday, they crucified him. Were you there, Hubert? That was terrible.
Yes, I was there, AJ. That was the meanest thing I've ever seen people do to each other.
Why'd they do it, Hubert? Jesus wasn't a bad man. He was a very good man.
Yes, AJ, Jesus was a very good man. I have heard people talk, and they say he died on the cross for all the sins that people commit.
Is it true, Hubert, that on the third day Jesus rose from the dead?
Yes, AJ, that is true.
So Jesus is alive today?
Yes, AJ, Jesus is alive today. Isn't that great news?
That is great. I'm starting to feel better now, but something still bothers me.
What is it, AJ? Do you want to talk about it now? I'll be happy to help if I can.
Well, I don't know. It is kind of personal. You see anything different about me, Hubert?
No, not really. You still have those long ears, that soft, kind face that everybody loves about us donkeys.
But Hubert, I feel like there is some kind of mark on my back. When they were crucifying Jesus just before he died, I got up very close to the cross so Jesus would know how sorry I felt for him. But then I felt something land on my back, like a mark or something, to brand me for being just a simple little donkey.
Let me get a good look, AJ. I don't think there's any brand on your back. AJ, this is great. There's no brand. It is much better than a brand. There's a cross on your back. That's right, a real cross. From now on, all donkeys will have a cross on their back, just like you, AJ.
But why a cross, Hubert? Why do I have a cross now?
Look, AJ, you did a wonderful thing when you carried Jesus into the city that day. Then when you showed compassion for him when he was being crucified, that was a good thing also. And that cross on your back will always remind people that even we simple donkeys can do good things. Did all you children know, or even your parents or grandparents, did you know all donkeys have a cross on their back? Next time you see a donkey, look close, and you will see a cross just like AJ has on his back.